Bambi had been breathing easier for the first time in months. The storm that nearly drowned her had finally started to clear. And for once, she was the one deciding the narrative. The docuseries deal was signed. The merch line was selling out in minutes, and even the industry blogs that once mocked her were now calling her the last wife like it was a title of royalty. She was smiling in her interviews again, not the forced smile from reunion stages, but the kind you give when you know you made it through the fire and came out with gold. VH1 was on defense, her brand was expanding, and every post she made turned into a trending topic. People thought the story was over. They thought she had closed that chapter, locked it, and thrown away the key. But in reality, she had only paused the chaos. And somewhere out there, a woman whose name had been whispered but never forgotten was quietly polishing the match that would set it all off again. Tasha K had been uncharacteristically quiet. Too quiet. Her followers were starting to notice. For weeks, her uploads had been sporadic, no high-energy rants, no signature side-eyes, no exclusive dirt that made the blog scramble to keep up. Some thought she was laying low to dodge another lawsuit. Others figured she was digging for something big, and they were right. Because while the internet was busy debating Bambi's rebrand and whether Scrappy would ever recover, Tasha was working the kind of story that made her career in the first place. The kind of story that didn't just shake relationships, it shook entire industries. She had been feeding a source for weeks, checking dates, cross-referencing timelines, and quietly building the kind of receipt trail that would be impossible to dismiss. And now, she was ready. It started with one post. No long caption, no clickbait, headline just a black square with white text that read, "Y'all ready for the truth behind the truth?" Within minutes, comment sections exploded. People were tagging friends, old enemies, and even cast members to come take a look. Blogs screenshotted it. Twitter started spinning theories. By the time she posted her follow-up, the whole internet was perched on the edge of their seats. Tasha K was going live. The countdown timer on her YouTube page hit 30 seconds, and the chat room was moving so fast it was unreadable. Hearts, laughing emojis, snake emojis, people spamming drop it, sis like their lives depended on it. When the screen lit up, she was sitting there in a silk robe, fresh curls, a glass of wine in hand, grinning like she knew exactly what she was about to do. "I told y'all when I disappear, it's not 'cause I'm scared, it's 'cause I'm busy." She let the suspense build, leaning back in her chair, letting the chat go wild. "Now, y'all remember how y'all thought Little Courthouse Wedding to Erica was the twist of the season? Baby, that was the setup. The punchline. Oh, we getting to that." She held up her phone, tapped the screen, and suddenly, the live filled with static. Then came the sound, muffled at first, then clear enough to make everyone in the chat freeze. It was Scrappy's voice, undeniably his. No auto-tune, no TV polish, just raw, unedited audio. He was talking to another man, voice low like they were in a car or a back room. "Look, man, it wasn't about the love. You know that, marrying Erica. That was for the legal play. Bambi, that was the VH1 play. 2 households, 1 bank account. They just didn't know it." The other man laughed, almost in disbelief, before asking, "So they both think they the main?" Scrappy's voice cut through like a knife. They both were the main. 4 different checks. The room, both, the one in the audio and the one watching the live, went dead silent. The chat exploded in capital letters. People were screaming through their keyboards. Some were defending him, saying it had to be fake. Others were already stitching the audio with old clips of Bambi and Erica talking about building an empire. Twitter birthed the hashtag Scrappy scheme before the live even ended. Tasha K sat there sipping her wine like she was watching a fire she started spread across an entire neighborhood. "Y'all don't even know," she said, smirking. "That's just the warm-up. I got more. I got names." She leaned closer to the camera. "And before y'all ask, yes, the women know now. I made sure of it." In that moment, Bambi was not on Instagram. She wasn't doing interviews or posting brand teasers. She was in a meeting with her lawyer, going over next steps for her docuseries rollout. Her assistant walked in, phone in hand, face pale. "You need to see this," she said. Bambi took the phone, pressed play, and sat there in silence. No gasp, no curse word, just a slow blink as she processed the sound of the man she once defended on national television explaining her entire marriage like it was a chess move. By the end of the clip, her jaw was tight enough to cut glass. She didn't say much, just, "Close my accounts. All of them. Today." Meanwhile, Erica Dixon was busy with a soft launch of her new skincare line when the comments started flooding in. At first, she ignored them. Then one fan flat out asked, "Sis, you in on the hashtag Scrappy scheme?" And she froze. By the time she checked her DMs, her name was already trending alongside his. She went live within the hour, denying everything. "I didn't know nothing about no financial play. I married my child's father. That's it." But the internet wasn't convinced. Old reunion clips surfaced where she'd said, "This is about building an empire." Side-by-side edits started circulating. Public opinion shifted fast and it wasn't in her favor. VH1 tried to do damage control, releasing a bland statement about not being aware of Scrappy's personal financial dealings and reiterating their commitment to ethical storytelling. But then, a so-called anonymous crew member dropped a screenshot of an email from a senior producer. The subject line read, "Scrappy storyline keep both." The body of the email, "Don't force him to choose. This plays better on screen if both women think they're the center of his life." The blogs had a field day. #VH1 on trial started trending. Tasha K wasn't done. She let the audio play one more time before ending the live. Part 2. She teased, "That's where he names who helped him pull it off. Y'all ain't ready." And just like that, she ended the stream. The internet didn't breathe for a full minute. Then the floodgates opened. Memes, reaction videos, think pieces. And somewhere in Atlanta, Scrappy was staring at his phone, realizing the one woman who'd already burned his empire might not even be his biggest problem anymore. The hours after Tasha K's live were a blur of chaos. For the first time in weeks, Scrappy's name wasn't just on the blogs, it was plastered across every gossip page. Trending in places that normally wouldn't even care about reality TV. Sports blogs were reposting the audio. Hip-hop forums were debating whether it was strategy or straight-up scamming. Even a finance YouTuber did a reaction video titled, "How to Lose 2 Wives and a Bag in 5 Easy Steps." But the one person everyone was waiting to hear from was Bambi. And she wasn't saying a word. She had shut down her comments, put her phone on Do Not Disturb, and locked herself in her home office with her attorney. This wasn't going to be handled on Instagram. This was going to be handled in court. The next day, TMZ caught her walking into a downtown Atlanta law firm in an all-black power suit, oversized sunglasses, and a folder so thick it looked like it could snap a table in half. No smile, no wave, just a direct march past the cameras like she had an appointment with destiny. By noon, sources leaked that she was preparing to file a civil lawsuit against Scrappy for fraud, breach of trust, and emotional distress. But the part that sent shockwaves wasn't the lawsuit, it was the rumored inclusion of VH1 in the suit, accusing the network of knowingly exploiting her marriage for ratings while hiding the truth from her. That move turned this from a messy breakup into a corporate nightmare. Erica Dixon, on the other hand, couldn't seem to get her footing. Her skincare line launch had gone from a celebration to a disaster overnight. Every promo post was flooded with comments about the audio. Fans were asking if she'd refund their orders until she explained herself. She posted a story claiming she had nothing to hide, but within minutes, an old clip resurfaced from a Breakfast Club interview where she'd laughed and said, "Me and Scrappy, we always make it work one way or another. It's business and it's personal." The internet didn't miss a beat. She said it herself, business and personal. One tweet read, "They scammed together." Meanwhile, Scrappy had gone completely dark online. No posts, no lives, no club appearances. His team claimed he was focusing on his family, but word around Atlanta was that he was bouncing between friends' houses to avoid paparazzi. One insider swore they saw him arguing with his manager outside a studio, waving his arms and pointing to a phone screen. "You let her air that. You let her air that." The manager just shrugged. "You said you didn't care if she came for you?" Scrappy's reply, bitter and low, "I ain't think she'd actually do it." Back in her own world, Tasha K was riding the wave like a pro. She dropped a second teaser clip, not the full part 2, just enough to make the internet salivate. It was still Scrappy's voice, but this time, he was laughing. "Man, if they only knew who helped me set it all up." The rest was bleeped out, but the chat went into a frenzy. Who was he talking about? Was it another cast member? A producer? A family member? Theories flew faster than facts, and every guess just made the story hotter. VH1 was in panic mode. According to a leak from a production assistant, an emergency Zoom meeting had been called with executives, legal counsel, and key producers. The goal was to figure out whether they could sue Tasha K for airing the audio, if doing so would make them look even guiltier. Someone suggested issuing a statement denying involvement, but another exec warned, "If we talk, we make it real. If we stay quiet, maybe it burns out." But this wasn't burning out. It was spreading. The most unexpected blow came when a second anonymous crew member stepped forward. They sent an email to multiple gossip sites claiming that dual relationship arc had been heavily encouraged by the network and that at least 3 producers knew about his marriage to Erica before it was made public. They alleged that one producer even suggested using Bambi's reunion breakdown as the season finale cliffhanger. Within hours, #VH1New was trending. Bambi, still silent on socials, was working behind the scenes. Her lawyer began reaching out. 2 other reality TV stars who had complained about storyline manipulation. Some agreed to provide sworn statements. One even hinted at having text messages from a VH1 exec discussing how to stretch out the Scrappy Bambi Erica triangle for another season. If those texts surfaced, it wouldn't just be bad press, could be grounds for a massive lawsuit by midweek. Erica cracked. She went live late at night, looking exhausted, her voice tight. "I didn't scam nobody. I didn't marry for money. I married for my family." But before she could go deeper, the comments section started spamming one word, names. She ended the live abruptly, posting a black screen with the caption, "You'll get my side when I'm ready." But her silence only made Tasha K's next move more dangerous. The build-up to part 2 of Tasha's drop was electric. She posted a countdown timer on all her platforms, hyping it like a pay-per-view fight. The night before it went live, she uploaded a blurry still image from the recording to men sitting at a table. One with his face obscured, the other clearly Scrappy. The caption read, "Tomorrow, we name names." Fans went wild. Cast members stayed quiet. VH1 reportedly told staff to avoid public comment at all costs. And Bambi. She booked a makeup artist for the morning after the drop. When asked, why, she smirked and said, "Because when that tea hits, I'm going on camera." The morning of the reveal, the internet felt like it was holding its breath. Tasha's live was scheduled for noon. By 11:55, over 100,000 people were already waiting in the chat. Memes were ready. Reaction channels had their cameras on standby. And somewhere in Atlanta, Scrappy was pacing a room, phone in hand, praying that somehow, someway, this wasn't the day the rest of the world found out just how deep his scheme really went. The countdown hit 0, and the live feed snapped into focus. Tasha K was leaning forward in her chair. No wine this time. Just a black notebook open on the desk, and a look on her face like she was about to rewrite somebody's life in real time. "You waited," she said slowly, her voice carrying that mix of mischief and malice only she could pull off. "So here's the payoff." She tapped the notebook. Scrappy didn't do this alone. And the person who helped him, baby they, ain't no stranger to y'all. The chat went nuclear. Hearts and fire emojis flooded the screen. Names started flying, cast members, producers, even family members. But nobody was ready for the one she actually said. She pressed play. The audio picked up right where part 1 left off. Scrappy's voice, casual, confident. "Man, I couldn't have kept both houses running without her. She made sure the checks cleared, the timelines didn't overlap, and the paperwork stayed clean." The other man in the recording asked, "So she was in on both?" Scrappy chuckled. "Whole time, she the one told me to marry Erica on the low, keep Bambi on VH1, and let the money hit from both angles." The other man laughed. "Damn, she cold." And then, clear as day, Scrappy said the name Yandi. The chat exploded. Thousands of messages a second. Some fans were in disbelief, others were saying they'd suspected her all along. Tasha K didn't flinch. "Yes, I said it," and before her lawyers start typing, "Let me show you this." She flipped her notebook to the camera, revealing printed screenshots of what looked like text messages. The messages, allegedly between Yandi and Scrappy, read like they were coordinating to separate lives. One text from Yandi read, "Keep Bam happy for cameras. Erica paperwork's ready. You got until Tuesday to sign and send." Another said, "VH1 can't know about both. Keep them guessing." Tasha zoomed in on the timestamps. Same month as the courthouse wedding. Y'all. Same month. Within minutes, #YanDYNew and #TriplePlay were trending. Old clips resurfaced of Yan giving Bambi relationship advice, her saying things like, "You just gotta protect your peace," now framed as pure hypocrisy. Fans started tagging Mendices, demanding he respond. And while the internet debated whether the texts were real, Bambi was already making her move. She posted a short video of herself sliding a manila envelope across a lawyer's desk with the caption, "Add her to the list." No tags, no names. But everyone knew exactly who she meant. Erica Dixon broke her silence within an hour of the live ending. She went on Instagram with no makeup, looking dead into the camera. "I ain't never been part of no scam, but if Yandi was out here pulling strings, I want answers just like the rest of y'all." The comments section lit up, half supporting her, half dragging her for acting brand new. Then came a twist. No one expected. Mendices posted on his own story, "Y'all ain't ready for the truth." That post alone set off 1,000 conspiracy threads. Some fans claimed this was his way of distancing himself from Yandi. Others thought he was about to expose her for his own leverage. VH1 could no longer stay quiet. They released an official statement denying that Yandi had any influence over Scrappy's storyline, but the damage was already done. One gossip page posted alleged production call sheets showing Yandi and Scrappy had been booked for the same off-camera strategy meetings in New York months before the marriage scandal broke. Another page leaked a grainy behind-the-scenes clip of Yandi whispering to Scrappy backstage at a reunion taping while Bambi was on set filming her segment. The internet didn't need proof beyond that. They were convinced. By that evening, paparazzi caught Yandi outside a Manhattan restaurant, dodging questions. She smiled tightly, repeating, "No comment," as cameras followed her to her car. But her silence didn't slow the fire. In fact, it only made Tasha K's final drop of the night hit harder. She posted one last clip from the audio's voice again, softer this time. "If it all blows up, I'm good. They can fight each other, long as the money hit, I win." That line spread like wildfire. Memes, remixes, TikTok voiceovers. It was the kind of quote that would follow him for the rest of his career. The fallout was instant and brutal. Bambi officially filed to add Yandi's name to her civil suit, accusing her of conspiracy and emotional manipulation. Erica began pushing her own narrative, hinting at a possible countersuit if the texts were proven fake. Scrappy sponsors pulled the last of their deals. And Tasha K. She ended her day with a simple post, a photo of her wine glass and the caption, "Some stories tell themselves." But this wasn't over, not by a long shot. A week later, a blind item appeared on a major gossip blog hinting that Mendices had secretly met with Bambi's legal team. Fans speculated that he was ready to flip on Yandi in exchange for immunity from any legal blowback. The same day, an anonymous account on Twitter started dropping cryptic tweets like, "She built her empire on other women's pain," and "That audio was just the beginning. Wait for the video." Hashtags reignited. Every cast member's comment section turned into a war zone. When the reunion special finally filmed, security was doubled. Bambi refused to be seated near Yandi, threatening to walk if producers even suggested it. Erica came with her lawyer in tow, holding a thick binder. Scrappy sat dead center, hoodie up, beads of sweat on his forehead under the stage lights. The host wasted no time. "We have to talk about the audio," they said. Scrappy smirked, leaning into the mic. "Y'all heard what y'all heard." Bambi laughed bitterly, shaking her head. "Yeah, and for once, everybody believed it." That line drew gasps, claps, and a wave of "oh" from the audience. Then, mid-taping, an unplanned interruption shook the set. A producer rushed on stage, whispering urgently to the host, who froze. The teleprompter went black. Camera stopped rolling for 5 minutes. When filming resumed, the host's tone had shifted. "It seems," they said carefully, "there's been another development. Tasha K. has just gone live." Phones came out instantly. Even the cast members were watching in real time. The comments started rolling in. Part 4. She got video. And that's how the reunion ended, with a final word from Bambi or a confession from Scrappy, but with the entire cast staring into their phones, watching another storm form before the first one had even settled. Because in this world, there's no such thing as closer only. The next bomb waiting to drop.